Hi everybody, I'm Lights Camera Jackson. Today is Sunday, December 2nd, I believe, 2018. Welcome to a new episode of LCJ Live. It is another screener weekend for me, watching a lot of movies because I vote for the Critics' Choice Awards this week. So excited about that. The nominations will come out a week from tomorrow, Monday, December 10th, and I'm going to vote. I have to vote by Friday. Still got a couple movies to see. I watched If Beale Street Could Talk last night. I'm going to be watching On the Basis of Sex and Vice today. They're two of the last ones I need to see. Coming up, we'll talk about Beale Street. Also, Annie Awards and Golden Globe Award nominations are coming out this week. Annie Awards tomorrow, Globes on Thursday. Deal or No Deal is coming back. There's a special Bumblebee nationwide screening on Saturday. And we will remember the creator of SpongeBob SquarePants, Stephen Hillenburg. That is all coming up on LCJ Live. We'll get to the box office in a second. As always, send in your questions and your comments because I will read them right here on LCJ Live. So let's kick things off with the box office. Ralph Breaks the Internet is your #1 movie in America yet again with $25.8 million. That is a steep drop from last week, considering it was over Thanksgiving week. Huge numbers for Ralph, including $55 million on Friday through Sunday. I think it's because this movie isn't designed for kids. I don't think kids are going to want to say to their parents, can I go back, can I see Ralph again and again and again? Because adults, older kids and adults, are going to get the most out of Ralph Breaks the Internet. That's really what I think. But still, Disney's got to be happy that it's the #1 movie for a second week in a row, $25.8 million. In second, Dr. Seuss's The Grinch. Again, you get this 1-2 animation powerhouse combo because The Grinch made another $17.7, and it is doing really well for Universal. It has passed the $200 million mark and will probably do all right over the next several weeks heading into Christmas, even though you've got Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse coming out on the 14th. It's going to take away a lot of Ralph's money and a lot of The Grinch's money. Because The Grinch is what it is, it should stay in a lot of theaters all the way through Christmas. Creed 2, also a decent drop for Creed 2, 53% drop, $16.8 million in third place this weekend. The first Creed made $109 million. This one's up to $82. I think it's going to get to the 109, but it may not be as easy as we thought last weekend that it was going to get there. Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald in fourth. I put up a tweet yesterday. The first Fantastic Beasts movie made $234 million total in the U.S. This one's only up to $134, and it may have a hard time getting to $150. That's because this franchise has already gone way downhill. I think it's slightly better than the first movie, but a lot of people like the first movie. The Potter fandom just isn't there nearly as much for Fantastic Beasts. Bohemian Rhapsody stays in fifth. Instant Family stays in sixth. The only new major release this weekend is a horror movie called The Possession of Hannah Grace, which made $6.5 million and came in seventh. Cinema score, I believe I read, was C-, so that is not good. That's going to fall off the face of the earth next weekend, even though there are no major wide releases opening up next weekend. On the first weekend of December, there are several in limited, like Ben is Back, Mary Queen of Scots, Vox Lux, but nothing major wide. I still think Possession of Hannah Grace could be out of the top 10 when we sit here back here next Sunday. Robin Hood, Widows, and Green Book round out your top 10. A Star is Born finally exits the top 10 after 8 weeks, and it's closing in on $200 million. So that's your box office roundup right here on LCJ Live. A movie that was supposed to open this Friday, 2 days ago, on November 30. For the longest time, Annapurna had If Beale Street Could Talk set to open in limited on November 30. And then about a month ago, maybe it was even less, they said, nope, we're going to switch it to December 14 for limited. I don't know why exactly they decided to do that, because it significantly gets more crowded over the next several weeks. They could have had a huge opening weekend in limited this weekend for If Beale Street Could Talk, but they decided to push it another 2 weeks. So I watched this movie last night. This is Barry Jenkins' follow-up to Moonlight. I wasn't a huge fan of Moonlight. I liked Mahershala Ali in it. I liked some of the aspects of the film, but it just didn't get me emotionally, and I thought some of the tactics didn't quite work. It should not have won the Best Picture Academy Award. It should have gone to Moonlight, but let's not go back down that path from 2 years ago, which was a crazy mess that night. Let's talk about Beale Street. I think the movie's all right. It's incredibly slow. That was one of the issues I had with Moonlight too. was very slow, and that's what this film is. At times, aggravatingly slow. You wish something, I don't know, intense would happen to it to amp things up a little bit, but it just doesn't do that very often. The only little bits you get that from, Brian Tyree Henry's in the movie. He was also in Widows and White Boy Rick. He's in Spider-Man 2. He's having a big year. Dave Franco is actually pretty good in a supporting role. And Regina King. A lot of people talk about Regina King for supporting actress. Here's the thing. She's good. She's in like 5 scenes of this movie. That's it. And a couple good moments. But do I think she deserves to be a Best Supporting Actress frontrunner? No. It's kind of the same situation as Mahershala from Moonlight. He's good. Maybe a nomination-worthy role, but a limited role. Just not a lot of screen time for Regina King. I'm going to be watching Vice tonight. Amy Adams, a lot of people talking about her as a Best Supporting Actress nominee. Will she finally win the Academy Award after 5 previous nominations? Probably should have been 6 with Arrival, but 5 previous nominations. Will Amy Adams finally win with Vice? We'll have to see. Right now, it looks like it's the Amy Adams-Regina King showdown. We'll have to see who wins that battle in my book after I watch Vice tonight. But if Beale Street could talk, I just wish it had a lot more power to it, and it's really slow. The music's great, the costumes, the cinematography is gorgeous, but it just didn't quite get there for me. Probably slightly better than Moonlight, but I didn't fall in love with it like a lot of people are falling in love with Beale Street. A lot of people probably will who see it over the next several weeks. I'll have my full review later this week. Got a lot of reviews coming. I'll have that review on the basis of Sex with Felicity Jones as Ruth Bader Ginsburg. My Vice review's coming as well. And my review of Dumplin' with Jennifer Aniston and Danielle McDonald, featuring a song by Dolly Parton that could take her to the Academy Awards called Girl in the Movies. The song's really good. I'll have my reviews of those later this week. You're probably wondering, why haven't I put out my Mary Poppins review yet? We have been embargoed until Wednesday, December 12th at noon Eastern, as of right now, to publish Mary Poppins Returns reviews. All critics have this embargo set by Disney. It will be 2 hours, I believe, after the SAG Awards nominations are announced. Maybe Emily gets a nomination there. But as of now, I cannot publish my Mary Poppins review until December 12th. I'm sneaking some tweets here and there with opinion on it, but the full thing ain't coming as of now until December 12th. If that changes, you will instantly see my rapid review of Mary Poppins Returns all over social media. Bob Hall says, I heard Crazy Rich Asians bombed in China. Yeah, I heard that too. But hey, John M. Chu and the entire cast and crew are thrilled with how it did here in the United States, and they're campaigning really hard for Michelle Yeoh to get Best Supporting Actress nominations. I could see that for SAG. SAG Awards, I could totally see her as a surprise nominee. There's usually 1 or 2 wild cards for SAG every year. And Crazy Rich Asians trying to be a Best Ensemble nominee for SAG and for Critics' Choice. I can picture those happening, so we will have to see. Hey, while we're on the subject of award shows here on LCJ Live, let's talk about what's happening this week. I'll start with Thursday, which is the Golden Globe nominations. Which movies get in comedy or musical? Which movies get in drama? Films like Bohemian Rhapsody and A Star is Born and some other music films, Vox Lux. And, of course, Mary Poppins Returns is the guarantee in the comedy or musical category. But as for those other ones, it could be a little unpredictable until Thursday morning, where we find out where Lady Gaga goes. Maybe where Natalie Portman goes if they change that. Where Rami Malek goes. Which categories are they going to be in? That's going to be one of the interesting things on Thursday morning. What Globes have done in the past is they do their nominations around 8 a.m. Eastern. Half of them are exclusively online on the Golden Globes website. And then the other half, some of the bigger categories, are announced live on NBC during the Today Show. I say some because categories like animated feature, past couple of years, they've just done exclusively online beforehand. So you got to watch the live stream on the social media and Golden Globes website for the first half, and the second half coming on the Today Show on Thursday morning. Tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, the Annie Awards nominations by Asifa Hollywood. Jerry Beck, my good friend for Animation Scoop, is one of the main people involved in the Annie Awards every year, and Asifa Hollywood. This is the Animated Movie Award Show. Coco swept it last year, but I could see this year not as much of a single dominant movie. Hopefully the Annie Awards spreads the love a little bit. We've had so many great animated movies this year. Incredibles 2, Early Man, Teen Titans Go to the Movies. MFKZ, Ralph Breaks the Internet, Isle of Dogs, and a film called Mirai, which was screened in theaters on Thursday through Fathom Events and is doing more showings, I think, this week and next week, which is an amazing animated movie. And we've had some big blockbuster ones, too, like The Grinch and Hotel Transylvania. It's been another big year for animated films. So the question is, which ones get nominated? The voice acting category is always interesting to look at. And what the Annie Awards does is for the past couple of years, they've had 2 Best Animated Feature categories. One for big budget studio like Pixar, DreamWorks, Blue Sky, all them, Sony category, and then they have the Best Animated Feature Independent category. That's where you'll see Mirai, MFKZ, and a few other foreign, usually, animated films in that category. I know last year a couple surprises, one of them being Cars 3 was in the regular Best Animated Feature category. They've had a few others, but some of the correlation didn't transfer over. Like Ferdinand ended up getting Golden Globe and Oscar nominations. I don't think it was in the Best Animated Feature Annie category last year. So could be some crossover, carryover, could be some surprises. We'll have to check that all out. Of course, Spider-Man could get into that conversation because of these last-minute screenings for Spider-Man to get into those categories. So Annie Awards nominations tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. I'll have some instant reactions on social, plus a blog piece covering the nominations, see how things shape up for this year in animation, all at lights-camera-jackson.com. Speaking of animation, we have to talk about the late Stephen Hillenburg, who passed away last week at the age of 57 from ALS. I wrote a blog piece in March of 2017 when he announced he was diagnosed with ALS. And I basically said that SpongeBob is the show of the moment and how much this show has meant to him and meant to millions of people all over the globe, and that he was going to continue staying on with the show for as long as he could. And that ended up being only less than 2 years, unfortunately. What Stephen Hillenburg did is create a character and create a world that is just incredible. Everywhere you go in the world, they know SpongeBob. They're happy about SpongeBob. People love this character. Also, the 2 movies, the first one in 2004, the second one in 2015, and now a third SpongeBob movie coming in 2020 called It's a Wonderful Sponge, which is sort of going to be a prequel. It's all going to be CGI. I can see now, after the passing of Stephen Hillenburg, maybe they will insert some hand-drawn animation in his honor. I can see that happening now. But it's also going to be sort of It's a Wonderful Life for SpongeBob. What would life have been like without him? Sort of what they did with Shrek Forever After as well. And that's going to be emotional. Now that Stephen Hillenburg is no longer with us, I think they're going to take even more care of the script, the people working on the movie, the animators, the writers, the directors, everybody. And this could be an emotional experience for diehard SpongeBob fans, for people who have loved this character for 20 years. He's celebrating his 20th anniversary next year. I'm sure Nick will have a big celebration for all that. So, Stephen Hillenburg, thank you for these characters. We all miss you already, and we will continue to miss you. And you will live on through this character of SpongeBob, through the world of Bikini Bottom. Favorite episodes of SpongeBob? It's a tough call. I love the Krusty Krab training video. It's so good. Missing Identity is another one. A lot of the early stuff, but I gotta say, a lot of people said after the first SpongeBob movie, when Stephen Hillenburg left day-to-day operations, that the quality went down. I agree with that. But over the last 5 or 6 years, even slightly before Stephen Hillenburg came back for day-to-day operations on SpongeBob, the quality has been getting better. It is a fun show. The writing is still there. They're still satirizing a whole lot, and SpongeBob is still really, really good, which I'm very happy about, and I think diehard fans should be happy about. More in the world of TV this week. A big-time game show, Deal or No Deal, is back tomorrow night on NBC at 10 o'clock with a special holiday episode, and then the first 2 new episodes to air on CNBC Wednesday night, 8 and 9 o'clock, and then they're going to keep rerunning them all the way to 2 a.m. Howie Mandel is back for Deal or No Deal. I like this show a lot. What happened with this show was it had the millionaire factor where it was on too many nights, and it got too goofy. The contestants got too goofy. They threw in some antics. The game itself really works. Howie Mandel in the game itself really works. So I hope that even though they're probably going to try to add some things to the new version of Deal or No Deal, they got to stick to the core game. They got to stick to it because it's really exciting to watch. So Deal or No Deal is back tomorrow night, 10 o'clock NBC, and Wednesday night, CNBC, 8 to 10 p.m. On Saturday night of this week, Bumblebee is going to be screening nationwide in select theaters through Paramount. They're doing these early access screenings to get a jump on all the movies opening up in the holiday season. Because Bumblebee opens up on the 21st, and it's going up against, that same weekend, Aquaman, second act with Jennifer Lopez, which I do think could bomb. Welcome to Marwen with Steve Carell, which I also think could bomb. By the way, Universal said we were not going to get screeners of that in time, so don't look for that for Critics' Choice nominations. But most importantly, Mary Poppins. It opens a day or so after Mary Poppins, which is going to crush everything. I can still say that legitimately without posting my full review yet. Mary Poppins will crush Aquaman, it will crush Bumblebee, and so many other movies over the holiday season. It will dominate without question. Spider-Man will get some money in there, but Mary Poppins is going to be humongous. And it's going to be a huge awards player too. But Paramount wants to get a jump on everything, so they're doing these Bumblebee screenings on Saturday night. I'm going to be seeing it. I'll talk about Bumblebee right here next Sunday at noon Eastern on LCJ Live. I'm looking forward to it because Haley Steinfeld's in it, John Cena. It's a prequel spin-off of the Transformers franchise, and Travis Knight is the director. He did Kubo and the Two Strings. He's the big guy from Leica Animation. And so I'm looking forward to his vision of this Transformers story. A nice change of pace from Michael Bay. So we'll see if I have the same feelings back here next Sunday on LCJ Live. Once again, Ralph Breaks the Internet. $25.8 million, your #1 movie in America. I'll have my take on If Beale Street Could Talk. Vice, On the Basis of Sex. Dumplin'. All later this week on social media and at lights-camera-jackson.com. We remember Stephen Hillenburg. Check out Deal or No Deal. Bumblebee later this week. Golden Globes nominations. I'm going to have live reaction to it on social on Thursday morning when the nominations come out. Full blog piece up later in the day. And Annie nominations tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. If you're a big animation fan, you gotta pay attention because these guys know what they're talking about at Asifa Hollywood when honoring animation. So look forward to all of that. Opening this week in limited release. Ben is back with Julia Roberts. Go see it. I hope she gets in the Best Actress conversation. Lucas Hedges is also very good. Mary, Queen of Scots, which also Focus Features said we will not be sending screeners of in time. So you might not be seeing nominations for that from Critics' Choice as well. And Vox Lux with Natalie Portman, which I think is all right, but she's not as good as a lot of other people have been saying. That's my take on Vox Lux. They all open in limited release on Friday. So next Sunday, we will talk about Bumblebee, did some award season reaction from some of these as well, and preview the Critics' Choice Awards nominations, which will be coming out next Monday, and preview the SAG Awards nominations, which will be coming out next Wednesday. It's an exciting time of year. It's the holiday season, it's award season, all the nominations and all the big blockbusters at the box office. So stay here. The Rider's my favorite film of the year. The Rider got a lot of awards these last couple weeks and a lot of nominations from award shows. The Rider was, I think, a Sony Classics movie that a lot of people are talking about for cinematography. So yeah, it's a great time of year to be talking about movies. This is the big time of year, and stay with me right here. I'm your award season central. I will get you through all you need to know for this award season. I'm Lights Camera Jackson. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe and watch the latest video, and we'll see you next Sunday at noon Eastern for another new episode of LCJ Live. Bye-bye, everybody.